Hi guys, Chox here, and welcome back to the cupcake playlist. Today I am going to show you how to flat ice this cupcake cake. Alright, in case you haven't already clicked on it, learn how to tack these cupcake downs by clicking on an iCard. It'll take you right to that video. Alright, let's get on with it. Making cupcake cakes, pull apart cakes, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so as we're getting started, you know how we got all these tacked down. Now, with the same bag, I'm just going to cut a little bit more off the tip to make a bigger hole in the end. And of course, we don't want to leave the plastic in there. Let's put that over there. So now that I've got a larger hole, you can also use a large open tip, if they call them, round tip, an open coupler. However, I've got these kind of weird couplers, and I don't know if you can see, but right there, there is a slit right in it. So if I use this specific coupler to try to do what I'm going to do, I get lines in it and I don't get a nice round kind of cake decorator's professional looking roundness on it. So I don't like to use my coupler. I would rather just cut a bag so that I get a nice little round tip going on here just to smoosh this icing on. And what we're going to do to base ice these cupcakes is make sure, icing. Make sure all your papers are in and your cupcakes are squished together so there's like minimal slots in between the cupcakes. So we're just going to start, and I'm just holding the bag. I've got a little bit of pressure on it so that when I squeeze it, it comes out nice. You want to keep an even pressure so that you get a nice poofy bit of icing going on. So I'm just going to do little circles on each cupcake. Now, normally with cupcakes you want to stay inside the paper, but we want to go all the way to the outside of the cupcake. And if you notice any gaps in between your cupcakes, just give a little dab. Alright, so I'm just going to fill my bag. So the thing about doing cupcake cakes or pull apart cakes is it does take a fair bit of icing on the flat icing part of it, because you do want to fill in those little crevices to make a nice flat area. This icing is going to sink down as the day goes on because of the natural weight and gravity and stuff like that. So just keep in mind that it does sometimes take a little bit of extra icing. Now on the edges, you want to make sure you go nice and smooth on that outside edge so that it looks nice and finished when you go to flat ice it. Because we are going to just scrape all this icing around. Now if you are lucky and have one of those professional cloth icing bags, you will have to refill way less. And also I found with cupcake cakes, because they do take so much icing, I make my colors at the end. I make sure I have all my flat icing done, and then I will mix my colors. Because I've had situations where I have run out of icing for the flat ice because I make my colors first. In my opinion, it's easier to change the color design than it is for a flat icing blender, if you know what I mean. Okay, and the last little bit. So there we go. We've got each cupcake covered, and I've put little daubs in between these elbows here, just so that when I do take my palette knife to it, it will smooth out nicely. Okay, so for this next part, you're just going to need a palette knife. Mine's kind of dirty from playing already in this. And you don't want to like press down and mash it. You just kind of want to skim your knife across the top and flatten it out. So keep it in a nice little like 45-degree angle there so you get the edge, and you just kind of want to push the icing a little bit so you can flatten it out. Trying to keep in like long, even pressured strokes. I mean, you don't even have to do this part if you don't want to. You can just leave it with like beautiful rosettes on it. You can use a star tip and make beautiful rosettes on it. But if you're planning on doing a theme, if you want inscription on this cake, I highly recommend just flattening it out. If you're finding you're having troubles with icing sticking or coming up, run your palette knife under water, hot water, and then dry it off very carefully. And it should give you a nice glassy edge there. But I think we just might need to decorate this real quick. So that'll be in another video. All right, this cake is like pretty much ready to be decorated. So because I'm decorating it, I'm not worried about like little seams coming up. What I'm worried about is it just being flat. And there we go. There's a great big C. I should stop making jokes. Alright, you guys, thanks so much for joining me here in the cupcake playlist. This is how to flat ice a cake. Please be sure to click one of these boxes coming up around this letter, and it will take you to the cupcake playlist where all the other letters of the alphabet are waiting for us. And also I did the numbers 0 through 9. If you're needing to learn how to tack down these cupcakes, click the iCard and it'll take you to the how to tack down your cupcakes. And also in the iCards, I guess I'm going to show you how to decorate this to give it a nice little decoration. Alright, you guys, thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time in the cupcake playlist. Bye!